Hello ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Jim Makes a Cartoon. This is Jim, and you're watching me make a cartoon. So in the first episode, you saw me create Supreme Leader Strudel, the main character in Dictator Cat, and in the last episode, I put together most of the character model for Wilhelm, the Dictator Cat's toy and first lieutenant. It's kind of weird how I came upon the final design for Wilhelm. I initially sketched about a dozen different designs for him, and eventually settled on kind of a puffball kind of appearance. Mostly because that's what most of the toys my cats play with look like. They're either little fuzzy spheres from a store or crocheted ones that my wife makes. So I ended up settling on kind of a puffball, almost Mickey Mouse looking design. But after I finished creating this character, I set it down for a couple of days and looked back at it and realized I wasn't really happy with it. Like, it's not entirely clear that this is supposed to be sort of a mouse. Like, I was afraid people would watch it and think, oh, is this the mouse's head? Did its body get ripped apart? And then the arms, when I finished creating them, ended up looking almost like a second set of ears or maybe some weird dangly earrings. And the whole thing just looked kind of weird all around. I still have the character saved on my hard drive and everything. It's even got actions and smart bones associated with it. So I don't know, maybe I'll put it in an episode, maybe in a trash bin or something, I don't know. Though, as you can see, a few elements of the original character remain. The cream-colored fur and the pink ears and nose, as well as the brown button eye and the one missing eye that's been stitched over. And though it's not a visible design choice, I always intended Wilhelm to make kind of a jingling noise whenever he was moved around. That effect is actually generated by taking a sleigh bell and shaking it around inside of a sock. Now, Wilhelm, of course, is the only non-human character so far whose mouth actually moves. Supreme Leader Strudel's mouth never actually moves unless he is shouting. I did this as a way to kind of demonstrate that most of the series takes place inside of Strudel's imagination. If you look really closely, Wilhelm doesn't even have a mouth at all when we're actually looking at the world through normal human eyes. You know, I always think it's interesting to try and look at the world through other people's eyes, but at the same time, even if you try to perceive something as someone else perceives it, you're kind of filtering it through your own worldview, if that makes any sense. So we're trying to imagine the world through a cat's eyes where he feels like he's actually ruler of this whole house, but it has to be filtered through what we perceive a dictator might look at the world. Like, does a cat or a dog really think that their little toy is actually a living creature that they play with? Do our pets feel dependent on us, or do they feel like they are actually the alpha and we're just doing what they want? And before you start accusing me of being pseudo-intellectual, well, actually, you're absolutely right. I am being pseudo-intellectual right now. I really have no idea what I'm talking about, and I'm at serious risk of taking my cartoon way too seriously. So, what do you think goes through your pets' minds on a daily basis? What kind of behaviors and images do you kind of project onto them? For example, my cat Mattie just decided she wanted to come in to the closet where I record everything. She was scratching at the door, and I have no idea what she could possibly want. I right now can only assume she thinks there's some kind of hidden treasure in here or something, because she's kind of just looking around, and she's just acting like she's having the best time in the world. Of course, I could be totally wrong about that. If you can hear her purring or her collar rattling, that's actually because I'm holding her right now. And she's just sniffing around. Is she exploring or is she asserting her authority? I have no idea. Anyway, let me know what you think about the question I asked earlier in the comments section. And let me know if you have any other questions or comments or suggestions. And of course, remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I really, really appreciate it. And as always, do like your mom told you and share. And I'll see all of you amazing people next week.